sorry, I know this is a day late. It's kind of just one of those things where after I did the One Piece review, I was just kind of and between like the whole blackout thing I had endured, I was just kind of tired to do the My Hero Academia review. But okay, just jumping right into this chapter. This is one of those interesting chapters that gave us a lot of good stuff with the big three, yet also left me wanting more. And like a big example of this is obviously one of the things about this chapter is we see how the big three became friends, from and all happening from Nedge Ray's perspective this time. And what we do get is really good stuff with showing how her outlook changed from being around Mirio and Tokusa. But I feel like we were supposed to get more of that perspective, and I'm not even saying a whole lot more, because Horikoshi's strategy right now when it comes to backstory seems to be that he uses the minimum amount of backstory that he feels is the most effective. So in that regard, it's not like I was expecting a full-on backstory of how Nejire became friends with Mirio and Tamaki, but it did feel like one or two scenes were missing from this flashback. But it's like I'm not even talking like again full-on backstory, just like one or two scenes feel like they were cut out of this chapter. But even putting that aside, the flashback still showed like the most important aspect of the relationship among the three characters, which is that just like with Mirio, when the chips are down, like Tamaki is pretty much the one that both Mirio and Nejire can trust the most, and to the point of, with Nejire, you could argue it's even more. She has even more trust she puts in him, as shown. She basically offered Tamaki her power, and so in that sense, it really shows just how bonded the three of them really are. And like Tamaki's ability, it's one of those things where no matter how many times I see it, it's always the most badass thing in My Hero Academia, while simultaneously being the most creepy power, just from how the artwork portrays the amalgamations like created by all the things that Tamaki has eaten. Like it's really like you can tell that there are so many aspects to My Hero Academia where you can tell that Horikoshi really likes to tap into the horror aspect, like Shigaraki being an obvious one, but like Tamaki is another one where it's like he really uses his power to the most effectiveness of making sure that all the amalgamation of everything he's eaten is like the creepiest shit ever. And this was kind of creepy, I'm not gonna lie. Now, with that said, we get some pretty crazy shit on Shigaraki's end of things in this chapter as well, which kind of answers the question of how he hasn't been fully consumed by All for One. And it's revealed to us that even though he is barely hanging on to who he is, the one thing that is still keeping him whole and just keeping him grounded in who his identity is from his identity as Tenko Shimura, which carries so much to the idea that the person and family name he long rejected is now a thing that's keeping him whole, but also more so that by embracing who he is as a member of the Shimura family, to fight back All for One from taking complete control. Things have come weirdly full circle in the sense where in his own roundabout way, like Shigaraki is fighting All for One, like Nana and so many others had done before, making me think like we are definitely getting to that point where I still can't say for certain if we are going to get a full-on redemption with when it comes to Shigaraki, but all the pieces do feel like they're like falling into place for Shigaraki to, in some form or another, like cast out All for One, and in that direct way help basically like destroy All for One once and for all. Like something about this connection is definitely going to end up being the downfall of All for One, which again, ironic considering that All for One created him to preserve himself in eternity. but by doing this, I think he might have just sealed his own fate. Because at this point, like, I have a hard time believing Shigaraki will be redeemed to the point of becoming a full-on good guy, but I think he'll be redeemed just enough of. I think he'll regain just enough of his sense of self to do the right thing. Like, Mirio even caught on to this in the way where he realized that he realized he said something that might be a sticking point that'll either get him killed or he can bring like Shigaraki out, bring like Tenko Shimura out of Shigaraki given the right circumstances, and by releasing Tenko it'll help to draw All for One away. Maybe. Again, I'm just kind of speculating on this, but it feels like that's what's being set up here. And there's not really a whole lot else I can really talk about beyond this. It really is just kind of a self-contained chapter focusing on the big three versus Shigaraki, which I guess that in itself is something I can talk about, because for those who aren't aware, Horikoshi has gotten a new editor recently replacing the old one. And the one, and from what I've heard, the pretty much old editor sounds like someone who was essentially a Gen Z newbie. The editor's name was Taguchi, and while I don't know the timeline for when he entered onto the scene of being My Hero Academia's editor, it's feeling more and more, especially with this chapter, like he was the one responsible for the manga's horrendous pacing during a lot of the earlier sections of the time skip. Because now with the new editor Imamura, who's stepped into the picture, while it's feeling like he's unable to fix a lot of the problems that have been plaguing the manga race for a while now, it does feel like Imamura is at least trying to keep things slightly more narratively focused and just make the best use of what he's being given to work with, which in itself just begs the further question of how different things might have been had Imamura come on as My Hero Academia's editor over Taguchi, because for obvious reasons mentioned before, I think we'd still end up facing this same overall situation of Horikoshi being forced to rework the story due to the villains being rejected outright by the readership. But just based off these past few chapters, I think Imamura would have known how to narratively adapt to that situation better than Taguchi, and probably would have just gotten a better pace. We would have gotten a better pace final product out of this time skip as a whole, rather than what we got. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Analyst Crunchyroll. Be sure to notification bell with the subscribe button, and just share the video around, guys. Dark Knight of NA, signing off. Later, everyone.